Not Too Late at 58, the podcast for those of a certain age who say, yes, why not? Hello and welcome to this podcast series called Not Too Late at 58, to start your own business. I'm Annie Weir and I turned a lifetime dream into a reality when I was 58, when I finished and published my first novel. So I'm living proof that it is not too late at 58. Hence the name and hence my new passion to help other people of a certain age to achieve their ambitions. And just a couple of things to make clear. You don't actually need to be 58, of course. You don't actually need to want to write a novel, although it is the ambition of a lot of people, and I will tackle that in a future series of podcasts. And many people I speak to say they wish they'd started their own business when they were younger. And I say, well, why not do it now? It's not too late at 58 to start your own business. This series of 10 episodes will address some aspects of starting your own business. And future series, as I say, will include novel writing, business book writing, and getting your training sessions online. So if you'd like to know more about me and Not Too Late at 58, just hop back to the first episode of the first series. This episode is called Your Competition. Who are you competing with? When I discuss competition with my business startup clients, they tend to look for people and organisations who are offering the same, if not identical actually, thing as them. And if they can't find anyone, they think they don't have any competition. Now, this is seldom true. Think of an example like a leisure park. There may be a cinema, a bowling alley, a couple of restaurants, some shops. And in this instance, the cinema may feel that it doesn't have any competition as they are the only cinema for miles around. But they're wrong. All those other businesses around them are after the leisure time of their potential customers. And similarly, a local painter and decorator may not have another painter and decorator in the area, but, B&Q is a competitor because the customers can choose to buy the paint and do the work themselves. So it's not really straightforward after all. And what I'm suggesting in this episode is that you analyse who your competition are and what they're offering and at how much. Of course, I have a download for you to help with this process, or you can follow the steps which I'll outline in a minute. And by doing this, you will identify who your main competitors are. You'll identify their strengths and their weaknesses compared with yours. And there are several reasons for analysing your competition, both direct and indirect. Well, the obvious one is to see who else might get your customers' business. But you might be able to tempt some of their customers away. You might be able to offer a special promotion that they aren't doing. You might want to undercut them on price, although I wouldn't necessarily say that's the best way to go. You might want to offer a better level of service, which might keep them as customers for longer. Or you may want to offer a wider range of products or offer a niche product or service. And whatever your reason, you need to know who and what else is out there. And maybe the most important part of this process is to find out where you are different to everyone else. Or in marketing speak, to find out your USP, your unique selling point. And then when you've done that, you can match it to the needs of your ideal client. So that is perfect. It used to be a case of going through adverts in the press or yellow pages or looking at cards and newsagents and notice boards. But now, of course, you tend to do most research online. And depending on the type of business you're setting up, you could also survey potential customers and carry out mystery shopping calls on your competition, or get someone else to do that bit for you. So, as I said, what I suggest you do in this episode is to analyse who your competitors are, what they're offering at how much, and if you haven't already done so, there's the link below which will help you do it. but the instructions are what I'm going to outline now. So the first thing to do is to list as many competitors as you can think of. And you may be looking locally, nationally, internationally. So Google some keywords to see what comes up. Think a bit more widely than just other business offering exactly the same as you, because nobody will be offering exactly the same anyway. So here are some examples. If you plan to offer beauty treatments in clients' own homes, look at other mobile beauticians, but also local salons and hotels, perhaps, that have beauty spas. If you plan to offer people somewhere to pitch their tent, and have a look at other campsites, of course, but also static caravan parks, glamping sites, yurts, and all that kind of thing as well. And if you plan to open a quaint tea shop in the village, look at the quaint tea shop in the next village, and the flashy new coffee shop, and the pub, and the takeaway made-to-order sandwich shop, and of course the supermarket. So you can list them, draw them up on a database on the computer. In the first instance, I actually prefer good old paper and pens, but whatever works for you. Then when you've got your list, group them together in types of competition and pick a representative example from each. Then carry out your competitor analysis, and for each one of your representative examples, state the name of the business, list what you consider the strengths are of that business, list what you consider the weaknesses are of that particular business, and then think about the ways in which they are similar to your proposed business and in what ways they're different to you and your proposed business. And finally, and this might seem a bit counterintuitive as well, what potential is there for collaborative working? Now, an example of that is I have a business startup client in the Lake District. She's going to be doing off-the-beaten-track tours of the Lake District, often using public transport. And a former client of mine set up her business last year doing a similar thing, but in a completely different area of Cumbria. And I put them in touch with each other, and they've met to see how they can help each other out. So it's a win-win situation. And by completing this exercise, you will be better able to position yourself and be really clear on exactly what you're offering. And then you'll be able to match that to your ideal clients and start to market your products and your services to them. So I suggest you do that activity, identify your USP, your unique selling point, make a note of it, and maybe share it on the Facebook page. And before we finish this episode, I thought we could just have a recap on what we've covered so far in this series of episodes. You've thought in depth about your reasons for wanting to start your business now and which of your strengths and passions you're going to bring to it. You've identified what it is you're actually selling, the sizzle and not just a sausage, and what it is that your product or service is going to be doing for your customer. And you know your ideal customer really well. And now you know what makes you different to the competition and why your ideal customer will come to you. So in the next episode, I'll give you an idea of what needs to be in a marketing plan. In other words, a plan to reach your ideal clients and match them to what it is you're offering. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week, and bye for now.